Hey, good morning, everyone. So, as you all can see, I just got up. I haven't even fully climbed out of the bed outside of jumping up to give Teddy breakfast and to put the video on for his class meeting this morning. This is my opportunity to take advantage of just lounging a little bit. Although technically I woke up at like 7 o'clock when he got up with all the with his nose and stuff every morning. He's his daddy's son. Anyway, I want to hop on here and give you all some useful financial tips for the day. So you're a person like me who finished school in the 2000s and you took out any student loans because you come from a poor family who couldn't front the bill. Here's a little tidbit of financial tips for you. One, and this is solely around student loans right now. So one, if you have federal and private student loans or private student loans, first note that all federal loans are not being put on complete pause and interest-free. I learned this the hard way. I looked at my student loans and I was like, why am I still paying interest and monthly payments for my federal loans? Well, good morning, whoever just joined. The reason why you're still paying interest and monthly payments for your federal student loans is because if you took out a loan before 2008, well, it's a federal loan still, but it's not held. Hey, Solomon, it's not held by the government in the same way that other educational loans are being held. It's held by the company through their federal education servicing. That's the first thing you need to know. Reason why you need to know that is that's the reason why your student loan is not being waived right now. But there's something you can do. So I called and I talked with a educational counselor for a while just to ask questions and find out why and so forth. And what I learned is that it was due to that reason that I just presented you all. But the way that you can benefit from this still is to just let them know that you need to have your student loans paused. So right now, every company pretty much has a disaster recovery plan and a disaster relief plan. So as a consumer, you can take advantage of the disaster relief plan. So you call in and just say, hey, I want to take advantage of your disaster relief plan on my government loans as well as my private loans. So Navient will give you 90 days on your government and private loans. So if you lost your job, take advantage of it. So you're not stressing on how am I going to pay for this and my mortgage and food and so forth. That's an option for you. If you didn't lose your job and you're just looking for a way right now to build finances, to make yourself debt free, take advantage of it. There's absolutely nothing wrong with taking advantage of it because these companies are making an arm and a leg off of us with interest and everything else. So on the private loans, you will still continue to collect interest for those 3 months. But you won't have, or you still pay interest, I believe it is, for those 3 months, but you won't have to pay the full amount, right? So that saves you some money. So with all the money that you're able to save, you can take that bulk cash and maybe you have a large, loan for maybe $5,000 or whatever the case may be. You take that extra money and you put it down on that large loan. So therefore, when you are back in full effect of paying all of your loans, your monthly payment goes down some. All right, save you some money, guys. Trying to look out for you on a monthly basis. So that's one option, right? The other option is, and I know people suggest do not move your federal loans or federal servicing loans out of the federal system. Keep them in there. Hold on a second. All I know is I'm taking my loan off auto draft. Oh, yeah. I don't put loans on auto draft. I'm going to come back to my statement I was making, but I'm going to address this. I don't put loans on auto draft because if you have loans that are kind of radical, I'll call them, and the companies are overseeing them, if they change anything in their policies and you missed a little policy paper or interest or whatever the case may be, it might be a slight tidbit of 1%, 0.01% or whatever it may be. They don't necessarily have to get your permission before they start pulling things out sometimes. And also they can shift how they allocate the interest and how they accept the payments. Like if you overpay, for example, for a month, a company can determine how they want to disperse those funds. I know because I've experienced this before, because that's how I got down my loans a lot, is by overpaying a lot of them. And I had to call the company and say, no, do not do that because you're making me late on this loan. I would like it to be done this way. And so what I did was I stopped doing that, and I started going every month and going to, instead of just clicking on pay, which I do sometimes, but I'll go in and specify the amounts per loan if I'm going to put extra somewhere. But if I'm not and I'm just paying my monthly bill, I'll just click the quick pay. So that's something that you can look into. I want to get back to what I was talking about the student loans and the interest. So it's not suggested that you take your federal loans out of the federal servicing, that you keep them there and don't consolidate for a private loan. However, I'm going to tell you all, I did do that, and I did it recently, and here's why I did it. Hey Adrian, here's why I did it. And hey Jerome, I did it because my interest on my federal servicing loans were not low. It was like 6.8%. That is super high. Even consolidating them into, because you can consolidate them back to Department of Education, it was like 6% or something like that. And that was with me adding loans, some of my loans that were like 4% and 2% into that. I would never, ever, ever, just to pay for one place, put all my loans in one place where it makes you have to pay more eventually overall for your other loans. So what I did was I looked into ways to consolidate all of my private loans and some of my federal loans that had interest anything over 5%. So granted, you do need to have some good credit or decent credit or whatnot. And so I went to my local bank, which I bank with Navy Federal since I'm a veteran. But federal credit unions are amazing for refinancing student loans if they offer it. Let me tell you all that. Look into it. So I went there and I looked into it, and I found that it was more efficient for me to actually just refinance them all into student loan private payment with my federal credit union. And now the ones that were like 4%, 2%, because I have a bunch of little loans, by the way, I left them. I left them at Navient. And the reason being is I felt like it was beneficial. I could probably pay all 3 of them off or 4 of them off in a matter of 2 months, right? Or 3 months if I take all my extra money and just put it towards that. Now, is that wise right now, given everything that's going on? It may not be the wisest decision, given everything that's going on, and we don't know what tomorrow holds with this pandemic going on. So always remember, like, take things into consideration while you can do certain things. Really weigh your options financially and think, like, would it be wise for me to do that? Do I have enough in my savings account that allows me to take anything extra and do that? Those are the type of things you want to think about. Do I have 5-6 months of income saved up? And in the reality of the world that we're living in, 5-6 months of income is kind of tough sometimes. But at least can I survive for a couple of months or 3 months if I'm hireable and I have a skill set that allows me to get another job more rapidly? Can I survive for at least 2 months? That's my thing. Can I survive for at least 2 months if something happens? If you have that amount in your savings, then yeah, you can afford to take a little bit off the top, not your savings, but the extra that you make, and put it towards your student loans. So that was just my financial tidbit that I wanted to share with you all today about student loans. Is take advantage right now. If you're free, call your student loan holder and let them know that you want to take advantage of the disaster relief plan that they have, and you don't owe them any explanation as to why. You don't owe them any explanation as to what's your job status. Hey, Tracy, none of that. You simply say, I need the disaster relief plan, and they will give you that for 90 days. So take advantage of things like that, guys. These are my little life hacks and little tidbits. I am working on opening a YouTube page, so I'll post all my little life hacks there and tidbits of information for you all. But these are little things that we can all do. And I feel like me being able to take advantage of that could be helpful to someone else. So I wanted to make sure that you all get that information as well, because as I always say, be a positive impact on the world by being a positive impact in someone else's life, and keep positive energy around you all. All right, I'm going to get up and get myself ready for the day. So you all have an amazing day. Take care.